standard we all live up to. It is a way of life. It is part of our mission. If you or someone you know finds themselves struggling with their mental health, please contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988 on your mobile phone or text 838 255 to speak or chat with a qualified counselor. Hello, Run for the Wall family. I am Hitch, and I am joined with co-host, as always, Boots.
Hey,
Hey,
everybody, how you
Boots.
doing?
And this week we have special guest John Turkey. Can't wait to hear about that. Staub, who is our president of board of directors. He will be joining us as our special guest this week. Hey, y'all, how you doing? How's it
Good to
going?
be here. All right.
Yeah. Well, Boots, we're getting closer to May.
That's right. Is it May yet?
With each and every episode, we are getting closer to May. And if you are wondering what that even means and you're new to this podcast, or you're just new to Run for the Wall, you heard about it from someone, or you saw us rolling down the highway back in May. Just so you know, we are the largest, longest, oldest cross-country motorcycle run in support of veterans, prisoners of war, those KIA. And we're just here to do our part to continue supporting the mission and riding for those who can't. Yeah.
That's right.
And we're here.
Welcome and thank you again for tuning in to the Run for the Wall podcast. And as always, we could not do the podcast, we could not do Run for the Wall without the support of so many sponsors. And, you know, someone who's been with us for a very, very long time, Chad Fuller of Fuller Law. He gives a lot of legal counsel to Run for the Wall. So, you know, if you or somebody you know has been in an accident and you need legal representation, please consider calling 55 Fuller Law. That's FULLERLAW, or go to fullerlawforriders.com. Also, if you've been listening or if you're new, every year we start the 3 coast-to-coast routes in Ontario, California, and we have so much support from the Greater Ontario Convention and Visitors Bureau, just incredible hospitality, giving us all kinds of stuff, from assisting us to hotel room blocks to the huge marquees that say, welcome Run for the Wall riders and everything else. So thank you to them. Also want to talk about hydration. That's very important. You never want to become dehydrated on a motorcycle ride. That is really, really unpleasant. Ask me how I know. But we have hydration trailers that follow all 4 routes. And the products that are on those trailers, the soft drinks, the energy drinks, the electrolytes, the water, tons of water and snacks, a lot of that comes from Pepsi and also Coca-Cola. So we want to give a shout out to both of them. Have a Pepsi, have a Coke, whatever you like. But remember to give them a great big thanks for all of the support that they give to Run for the Wall. And I have to mention 3 more sponsors who have helped us out this past year. AMSOIL, synthetic motor oils. I use it in pretty much all my bikes and my cars. Great stuff. There's an AMSOIL link on the Run for the Wall website if you want to take a look at their products. I think it's the best oil on the market. If you wanted to become an AMSOIL dealer, that's also possible. And I can help you with that. Give me an email at, just shoot me a note at pod@rftw.us and we'll get you set up. I wanted to thank Climb Riding Gear. They just came on board. They have some of the best riding gear available. And I just took advantage of their offer. And I ordered myself a brand new jacket because my old one was getting a little bit long in the tooth, shall we say.
Did it arrive yet?
Yeah. Oh, no. The jacket's not here. But I also ordered something from our other sponsor, Nelson Rig. And they make riding gear and motorcycle covers, and also tank bags and tail bags and all kinds of really cool accessories for your motorcycle. So I also ordered something from Nelson Rig this past week because if you look behind me, I have a brand new bike sitting there. That's a 2025 Harley-Davidson Pan America ST, and I got a Nelson Rig tail bag for that because there's nowhere to carry anything on that bike. So thank you to Nelson Rig for supporting Run for the Wall, giving us that discount. And if you're looking for gear from Climb or Nelson Rig, we got links right on the homepage about 3/4 of the way down. Scroll down, click on the links, and you can shop away.
Boots, your new bike is pretty. What's her name?
It's pretty. I was really going for adorable. And, you know, not everybody names their bikes, but we do name our bikes. I mean, I have Amber is my Amber Whiskey and Black Ultra Limited that I ride on the run every year, and that's kind of the sister bike to Horton's bike, Ginger. And
You
then I
just
have my
had to squeeze him in there.
every
You got him
episode.
in early this episode.
And then I have my 64 Harley Sprint that I've been riding since I was 13 years old. And that bike's been named Tiffany forever. And so we named the new black Pan America Roxanne. I know, we're weird.
All right.
Whatever.
Well, I want to see the new jacket when it comes in. I want to show and tell.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll do it.
or do we have to wait for the run to see it? Like,
Oh, no,
is there
I'll do a
some
little show and tell.
magical reveal?
We'll give Climb some props here. So as soon as that
Okay,
gets
okay.
here, we'll give Climb some props. But the Nelson Riggs stuff, I don't know if you can see the tail bag. It's on the back of that bike.
Hmm.
But it's really nice, very high quality, very sturdy, great straps to strap stuff on, and it has an expandable section where you can unzip it and put even more stuff in there. So I
More
really like
stuff.
it. Yeah,
All right. Well, for Run for the Wall news and events, y'all, registration is open. Are y'all
that's
registered?
that's right. If you haven't registered, please do, especially if you're in leadership. And I noticed that there's some road guards from the Central Route who haven't registered yet. Not sure why, but please do that. I also know that there's some people in leadership, fuel team, staging team, platoon leadership from other routes, guys and gals that I know who also haven't registered yet. So I'm not going to call you out by name, but please go and register as soon as you can.
We're 226 days from KSU. Time's running out.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yep. So, with that being said, all coast to coast routes will depart Ontario, California on Wednesday, May 13th, and Sandbox will depart on Sunday, May 24th from the DC area.
That's right. And hotel lists, I get a lot of questions on this. They'll be released on January 1st, 2026. So put that on your calendar. The hotel list will be released early that morning. You can log on, go to the route hub, click on the hotel list for the route that you're going on, or route, sorry. I know. I told myself I'm going to
Route.
start saying route, so hold me to it.
And Rich,
So whatever-
Rich Boy is cringing every time you say it.
I know.
So
it's route.
I.
It's route. It's route. I
Route.
know it's route. I'm going to say route. Okay. So whatever route you're on, click on that hotel list after January 1st and make your hotel reservations.
Okay.
How
Yep,
about
and
volunteers?
As you mentioned before, you were saying that there are a lot of people in leadership who had not registered yet, and you named off like road guards, fuelers, things of that nature. Well, we have a ton of volunteer opportunities available here at Run for the Wall. Every route is still looking for volunteers. So if you go over to the website, you will be able to find the sign up list, and you can even see like what positions are still vacant or something that you may be interested in doing or something that you have a special talent for. And get signed up to volunteer, and someone will be in touch with you to
That's
talk
right.
about that.
Yep.
Mhm.
I also want to mention the Run for the Wall song again because I got so much positive feedback from so many people. This is a song that was written by Joey Locker. We did a special on him, a podcast episode a few episodes ago. But you can now download that song from the Run for the Wall website. Just go to rftw.us/song. You can listen to it, you can download it, you can put it on whatever music device you use to listen to music and check it out. It's a great song. Thank you, Joey, for doing that. You're a talented guy.
Yes.
Also, I wanted to talk about meetups a little bit.
Yeah, we have a new one, right?
Yeah, we do. We got a couple of things going on here, but we've got meetups in Arizona, Colorado, Mississippi. Now that's the newest one. Northern California, Washington D.C. area. The new one in Mississippi is being headed up by Bravo 6, Johnny Huddleston. So you can email him at johnny.huddleston@rftw.us or just contact us at pod@rftw.us and we'll get you hooked up. But that's a great new one, and there's already a ton of people interested in that. So I'm really happy with that. If you want to start like Johnny did, Bravo 6. If you want to start a meetup in your area, contact me and I'll help you get it set up. We'd like to see these in just about every state. So, well, every state for sure. Also, there's another event coming up on October 18th. This is an RFTW fundraising dice run in the Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia area, sponsored by the Warrenton American Legion Post number 72. And if you want more information on that, I put it all up on the Run for the Wall calendar yesterday. And that's at rftw.us/events. And just click on that link, and hopefully we'll have a really good showing of Run for the Wall participants.
Turkey, are you going to that?
I'm going to try and make it. It's going to be weather dependent. Warrenton's about a 4-hour ride for me one way. So if I take Pinball Annie with me, then we'll see how the weather is.
All right. Okay. Good.
See if I can block off my calendar.
Yeah,
to make it to
how
that.
far are you, Hitch, from Warrenton?
I'm looking now. Apparently my calendar does, my map doesn't want me to go because it hasn't pulled it up yet. It's like still thinking. It's like, why do you want to go here, Ty?
You want to go?
I do. Because I do. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, it's only 61 miles from me.
Oh, you gotta go.
Yep. Hey, there's a Cold Stone there.
Oh, don't get me started.
The only things that pop up on the map are Longhorn, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, and Cold Stone. It's like my map knows me. It's only showing me food places.
Called artificial intelligence. All right. We got to move on here because we're coming to one of the most important segments that we do on the podcast, and that is why we ride. So what we do is every day on the Run for the Wall, when we get started, we have our all hands meeting, and this happens on all routes. We read the bio of somebody, a soldier who has made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can live in freedom. And we do that every day on the Run for the Wall. And we do that here on the podcast because that is part of our mission, to make sure that we say their names, tell their stories, and never forget. Now, we have a treat for you today because normally I read these, but John is going to read this one today. He picked this bio out because it has a special significance, and John is going to take that. So I'm going to share my screen, and John, after I do that, you can go ahead with Why We Ride.
All righty. Thank you, Boots. Ray Rangel, the only son of Federico and Cynthia Rangel, was born on 23 September 1975 in San Antonio, Texas. He attended South San Antonio High School and played defensive back on the football team, the Bobcats, where he was known to his teammates as Crazy Ray. He graduated in the class of 1994 and married his wife, Selena Hernandez of San Antonio, that year. He and Selena had 4 children and settled in Abilene, where they bought a house together. Ray enlisted in the Air Force in 1994 and served as a firefighter for over 9 years, serving last with the 7th Civil Engineer Squadron. He was deployed for the last time to Iraq in late September 2004. On 13 February 2005, while deployed with an Air Force unit operating out of Balad Air Base, Iraq, Staff Sergeant Rangel was attempting to rescue a group of soldiers trapped in a Humvee that had overturned in a canal. He entered the water, and during his attempt to save them, he suffered hypothermia and drowned. Staff Sergeant Rangel is buried at San Fernando Cemetery No. 3 in San Antonio, Texas, and his name is inscribed on the Middle East Conflict Wall, Panel 1, Line 49. It's not the worst thing to die in war. It's not the worst thing to be missing in war. The worst thing is to be forgotten in war. Say their names, tell their stories, never forget. Staff Sergeant Ray Rangel, you are not forgotten. Your memory and sacrifice on behalf of our beloved country lives on in our thoughts and hearts. You will always be remembered whenever we stand and sing the words, Land of the Free and Home of the Brave.
Thanks for reading that, John.
Thanks for allowing me to. As you know, I was a 24-year Air Force firefighter. And we had lost some firefighters in war over the years, in Vietnam and other locations. And Ray was the last wartime line of duty death we had in Air Force Fire Protection. We can't ever forget any of their sacrifices.
That's true. That is for sure.
All right. That brings us to our customs and traditions.
Customs and traditions. Great. So I was thinking about this. I was taking a look at this book right here that Ross Curry just gave me when I was at his house. If you don't know about this book, this is a really, really well written book by Jill Dubish and Raymond, what is it?
Mikulowski.
Mikulowski. Thank you, John. I just started reading this, and I'll tell you what, I mean, it gets your allergies going. You know what I mean? But it really kind of brought me back to, that moment when you're on the run and things are happening. And it's just such a hard thing to get into when you're not on the run. This book brought me right back to that moment. And one of the most special things that happens on Run for the Wall is the supporters who come out and line the highways and line those freeway overpasses, waving flags with first responder vehicles, fire trucks with their ladders extended and the flag draped down. I think there's a picture on the website if you scroll down. Actually, Hitch, you took that picture on the back of my bike. It's on the homepage of our website. But this happens on all the routes, all the way across from California to Washington, D.C. to Marseilles, Illinois. And it's one of the most amazing things and traditions. Seriously, when you're on the Run for the Wall and you're coming through some of these lonely, desolate highways, for us on the central route, coming through states like Kansas, where we're out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's nothing, there's not a structure out there. And we'll be coming down the highway and suddenly you'll see an overpass in the distance. There'll be a lone person standing there with the wind blowing, because it's Kansas and it's always windy. That's why they're always singing about stuff blowing in the wind in Kansas. But he's out there standing on an overpass, holding an American flag, full salute as the bikes go by. And that kind of thing just really gets you that this is such an important mission that somebody will come, disrupt their life, go out of their way, stand in the cold on an overpass, probably for hours, just so he can see the bikes come by for a minute and a half. And that happens in every single state that the run goes through. And it's amazing. So I wanted to make sure that the people who are thinking about Run for the Wall, it's not just a motorcycle ride. I mean, that's what it says right in the introduction, right here. I thought I was just going for a ride. And that's what I thought. I thought, it was my bucket list thing when we decided to do Run for the Wall. I always wanted to ride across the country. And I thought I was just going for a ride. Boy, was I wrong. So
I mean, it's a ride. It's a ride for sure.
Yeah, it's a life-changing journey. It's a mission. It's more than a ride. It's a mission.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of recount that to everyone and how powerful that is. What a healing thing that is to know that if you're a veteran, I am not, but if you're a veteran and you serve, particularly in the Vietnam War, to come now and be on basically a 10-day parade across the country and have people welcome you home. This is the welcome home that our Vietnam veterans never got, that they so richly deserved, and that every single veteran deserves for serving our country. And it's an amazing thing. It's an almost unexplainable thing, but the power and the motion that comes out when you're on the Run for the Wall and you're seeing this from just ordinary citizens all across our nation, from all walks of life. It's very, very emotional. It's very powerful. It's very moving. It's very healing. And it's a big, big tradition of Run for the Wall and a big part of our mission.
Sure. And I see the photo. I scrolled down. If you're interested in knowing which photo it is the photo next to the run's countdown. So
there you go.
I can see the corner of your helmet.
You can see the left edge of my helmet.
Yeah.
And that helmet is right behind me, right there on the wall, right. Where is it? I can't do it. There. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's that helmet. But that helmet's now ruined. It saved my life. Please wear good helmets, people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Good
just,
full helmets.
yeah, it's just sitting there now collecting dust. So
It's a statement piece at this point. But thank you for our custom and tradition. Turkey, are you ready?
I don't know if I'm ready or not, but I expect that this is the inevitable. So yeah, I am.
You're
well,
in great hands.
that's right.
Oh,
And
absolutely,
remember,
absolutely.
life's all about where you put the commas. So let's talk, Turkey.
All
Sorry,
right.
I have to have another sip of this.
Okay. So let's
It's good,
start with
but I can stop anytime.
you. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, what does your mug say?
I might look like I'm listening to you, but in my head, I'm playing my guitar.
How long have you been playing guitar?
Well, since I
Anything
was
that
about
starts with
13,
you
I was
realize you
self-taught at
started
about
this with nothing
I
good
was
ever
self-taught
comes
at about
from
starting about age 14,
Okay.
and then I kind of gave it up for a while. I mean, I learned to play cowboy chords and all that rah-rah
Hmm.
stuff, but I started it seriously when I retired in December 2019 because I wanted to study music and music theory because music has always been an incredibly important part of my life. And I
Yeah.
found as a leader in the various jobs that I was in that there's so much that you find in music that relates to being a leader and getting people of diverse backgrounds and experiences and objectives and things to come together and create a single masterpiece, if you will. And so I wanted to better understand music theory. So I'm kind of wrapped up in music theory right now.
Love that. I love it. I wish my dad would have forced me to continue with
Yeah.
guitar because he
Yeah, I have
played
this.
and
I
now
wish I had learned to play piano as a child. I really do.
yeah, I think I have 4 guitars sitting in storage
In
that I
storage,
can't I mean in my storage room right here.
okay, I hope you have like humidifiers in the cases or something.
I mean, I take them
You
out
probably don't.
every now and again
Okay.
and,
I've only
you
got
know,
6 in the
but
room that I'm sitting in right now. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I got a closet full too because I'm,
good.
big guitar player.
You're pretty good guitar player there, Boots.
Well,
So
thank you,
don't,
John.
yeah.
See, I
I've
don't even think
also
I knew that.
I've been playing since I was a child too. So
There you go.
See, this is why I forced my child to start piano at 3. She's in piano
Abs-
and violin
that's
already.
oh,
good.
and
And
violin. Whoa.
she wanted to play the violin like her big sister, so that's where she is. But all right, seriously this time. Okay.
Okay.
How were you introduced to Run for the Wall?
So about 2006 or so, I had decided that it was time for me to either get back into riding motorcycles or flying again. I needed something to get away from the day to day grind of the work that I was doing, something that demanded my attention, something that I could do that absolutely required my focus. So I was speaking with my wife, and Anne does not particularly like small airplanes, so flying was kind of out of the, I wasn't going to start flying again. And she said, "Well, look, I'll ride motorcycles with you as long as you don't do stupid stuff." She said, "I've been scared on a motorcycle before, and I don't intend to be scared on a motorcycle again." And so I started riding bikes again. And a couple, 3 years later, I'd gone through a Honda VTX 1800 F3 that, I dearly love that motorcycle, but it wasn't very comfortable for her. So we bought a used Harley Ultra, and we were trying that. And I was down at the Harley dealer one day, and Winky and Twitch, two Run for the Wall riders from Colorado Springs, who became very, very good friends of mine, happened to be at the service desk at the same time that I was there. And Winky looked at me and says, "You a veteran?" I said, "Yeah, I sure am." He says, "We need to talk." And so he told me about Run for the Wall and about the Colorado meetings that Harlan Olson and all the folks up in Denver, in the Denver area, were putting together every month. He said, you need to ride up there with us. Well, I did. And I kind of got hooked. And, I've been riding motorcycles on and off since I was about 10 years old, but I had never done formation type riding or anything like that. And, earlier in the podcast, we were talking about the importance of our regional meetings and our meetups and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, I learned to ride in formation from Harlan Olson. He taught, at the end of every meeting, we'd always go for a ride if the weather allowed us to. And we rode in run for the wall formation. And for Harlan Olson, that means side by side.
Yeah.
So, Harlan's a side by side rider. And he taught me and several others how to ride and how to ride safely that way and how to do it run for the wall style. And then a couple of years later, 2011 was our FNG year.
Mm.
12, we were participants again, but that was the year that Ann had her stroke while we were on the run, and that's a whole different story that we can use later if you want. 13, I was invited to join the staging team with Harlan Olson and all of the folks that were on Central Route staging. Man, they got that hook, and it just pulled me in, and I just so look forward to every year. I just really do. It's so meaningful.
Well, John, you and I were in Colorado at the same time.
I know it's crazy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's so cool.
You
I
never
mean, it
called
would have
me
been,
or invited me over
I
for
didn't know.
dinner or anything.
Let's see. So I actually got out in '06, but I didn't meet Freddie until maybe '08, '09, somewhere around there was when I met him. And, he would talk to me a little bit about it, but really he was talking to our professor mostly about it. And I didn't have a bike at the time. My bike had gotten stolen. But yeah,
Not in
so
Colorado Springs. Come on.
well, it was a Gixxer 1000, so yeah, it got stolen. It got stolen.
Those are pretty easy to steal. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Freddie Strickland?
Was what? Yeah,
You
yeah,
said
yeah,
you
yeah.
said you were talking with
Crash.
Freddie?
yeah, yep,
Oh yeah, yeah. I've ridden a lot of miles with that guy.
Yeah.
He's quite a character. He really
yeah, he
is.
is.
See him every
Yep.
year when we stop in Fountain.
And you
Yeah.
mentioned Winky too. I remember him because he was the route coordinator on my FNG year in
Oh.
So
2017.
he was 2013 Harlan led staging, Central Route staging.
Uh-huh.
And then in 14, Winky took over and made the mistake of asking me to be his assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And I readily accepted because I just thought that was really cool. So I was Winky's staging assistant for 2 years, and then I eventually took over staging from Winky when Winky moved into the ARC and the RC position.
Yep.
So yeah, I did staging for 5 years on Central Route.
Yeah, I remember when you were on staging.
Oh wow. So how many years total have you done the run?
Let me think. This is 2014, so 14, 10 years. If you take away COVID, and then 2 years when I was in DC, and I couldn't get away from work. I was assigned to the Pentagon in a reasonably responsible position, and I could take the leave, but my boss was like, John, you could take 3 weeks, but we really prefer you don't. So it was one of those things.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
then
I was
always
while I
Central?
was in DC though, I was the DC Arlington coordinator too. So it's not like I
Oh,
walked away from the run and didn't do anything. I was
Okay.
gainfully employed as the DC Arlington coordinator, the Ed
mm-hmm.
Wayner of the early
Yeah.
2000s.
Right.
That's literally where my thought went. I was like, "Oh, you were Ed. Okay, got
Yeah, yeah.
it." So have you always been on Central?
Yes, I
Okay.
started on Central. Midway didn't exist at the time, although as I was starting out going all the way on Central, Midway was in its formulative period.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had talked with them about going on Midway during the recon year, and all of it was full. So I stayed with Central, and I had made a lot of very dear friends and had a great deal of respect for everything that I saw that went into making Route. Excuse me. It's not Route 66. It's Route 66. Come on,
That's
I
right.
remember the show. But it just brings me back. It's like the siren song, the sirens are calling me back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every year I go back.
Well,
Now
John, since you have
you
so
did
many
sandbox
friends,
though.
I have done sandbox. Yes, I've done sandbox as a road guard. I don't know, 3 times, 4 times, whatever. Yeah, yeah.
but John, since you have so many friends and are so connected to Central, I'm going to tag you and Boots with breaking the news to Freddie that I am not doing Central Route next year.
Oh, I'll tell
Well,
him.
I can't. I'm not telling him
I'll tell him.
because he'll be like, "Where's Ty when you
we
all get
should
the
we should
fountain?"
wait till we get the fountain boots and then tell him.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
not texting him. I'm not calling.
no,
I'll be in trouble.
I'll take that. No problem.
All right, cool.
So, John, tell me, why do you ride, or who do you ride for?
I've given a lot of thought to that question because I knew it was coming, and it's such a deep question. There's so much behind it. I ride in memory of my father, who was a World War II Navy vet.
Mm.
I ride in memory of my aunt's brother who died in Vietnam. I ride in honor of some guys that I knew when I was 13, 14 years old that were going to Vietnam and came back from Vietnam, and one who did not come back from Vietnam. I ride in honor of every soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine, male or female, Coast Guardie, it doesn't matter, because having spent 24 years on active duty, and although I was never assigned to a combat role, um, I've spent enough time in senior positions to understand the enormity of the decisions that are made when we do send our people in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever want to lose or not be part of the process where we honor those folks. I don't ever want to lose that. That's incredibly meaningful to me. Boots, you were talking about the guy in Junction City, and I don't know if you remember. I think it was 2014. We were riding into Junction City, and it was just pouring buckets of rain, thunder and lightning. I mean, it was terrible. It was much like the tornado of a couple of years ago, except we were seriously in thunder and lightning all around us. That guy was standing on the overpass waving the flag when we rode through it. I mean, lightning
Wow.
is banging down everywhere. When you ride into Junction City, uh, I think it was the 25th anniversary. It was the 25th anniversary. From the interstate to the downtown, they were lined up on both sides of the street, 3 deep, waving the flag.
Yeah, Junction
When you
City is
ride,
amazing. It's
when
amazing.
you ride into Gallup, you ride into
I love
Holbrook.
Gallup. Yeah.
You go to the schools, and it just, boy, it's awful tough. Because occasionally the eyes water up, and you gotta get your focus back on what your mission within the mission really is. So
That's right.
that's why I keep coming back. I really do. I'm 71 now. I exercise regularly. I think that's one of the things that keeps me sane. But I tell you, that's one of the things that keeps me on the run too.
Yep. So I was going to ask, because we ask everyone, what do you do to prepare yourself physically and emotionally? Is there anything you change up or anything you do to get ready to go on the run?
Well, a couple years ago, I started watching. During the wintertime, it's kind of tough to ride in the snow in Pennsylvania. When the snow's flying, or after the snow, they use a lot of gravel here on the road. So
Mm-hmm.
you start playing around in the mountains, it gets a little testy. So I watch videos like Moto Jitsu and the Champion School videos and things like that to
Oh,
keep my
yeah.
mind focused on what I should be doing. When I ride out to California, although we didn't get to do that this past year, I hope to next year. I look for canyons and places to ride so that I can become a better rider. The area I live in Pennsylvania is a great place to ride, but it doesn't have the challenges that we had in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado and things like that. So maintaining that skill set is very critical. I do cardio training and strength training a minimum of 4 days a week, generally 6 days a week. Saturday's my off day. So I do it well for my health primarily because I'm a type 2 diabetic, and exercise does help control your blood sugars and things like that. But the stresses that I encounter, I learned as a firefighter and as a fire chief and an incident commander that you need to be able to control those stressors. And one of the ways to control those stressors is through being in good physical health.
Yep.
And many of the stressors that we encounter on the run are similarly challenging physically and mentally. And you need to be able to work through those so that you can have a successful run.
John, question. Have you ever done Tail of the Dragon?
No, I've not. We were going to do that this year. To be quite honest with you, we got home and we had a miserably hot summer.
Oh,
And I
okay.
find myself less prone to riding in 95 and 100-degree temperatures than I used to.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
have a client of mine, he and his buddies, they go down every year. I think they alternate between Tail of the Dragon and is it the Back of the Dragon? One
back of the dragon.
di-
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
yeah. Have you done it, Boots?
I have not, but in fact, I am planning to do the Tail of the Dragon next May after Run for the Wall on my way home. So
Are you
after,
serious?
absolutely. So I have a friend who lives in
It's funny, I
Nashville.
brought it up.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives in Nashville, and so ever since I started doing the run, I said, yeah, after the run, I'm going to come see you. But we always end up taking the northern route home because of weather. But this coming year, I'm going to go hit Tail of the Dragon. I'm going to cruise on down to my friend's house, spend a couple of days with him, and then I'm going to ride home. So
Wait, so then are you doing sandbox? You're not doing sandbox then?
I am not going to do sandbox route this
Yeah.
year. No, but I will be doing it in 27 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's see. So, Turkey, you talked about staging. I know you're a road guard, president of the board right now. What other positions have you held, if any?
Well, I was the DC Arlington coordinator for 5
Oh,
years.
yep.
Right.
Coordinator.
I was platoon coordinator for a year on Central Route. And that's pretty much it. I mean, between staging for 5 years and DC Arlington coordinator, and then trying to become a marginally sufficient road guard, uh, a reasonably satisfactory road guard. How's that? It keeps you busy.
Yeah.
But the thing is I wanted to get into platoon leadership. And I've always for some reason, always kind of veered away from that because I'll tell you, I was thinking about this as I was reviewing some of the podcasts. My platoon leader, the first 2 years I was on the run was Mike Taylor, Speedo. And Mike is an incredible, Mike was a phenomenal platoon leader. He absolutely epitomized what we want our platoon leaders to be. Every day he spoke to you personally. Every day he would look at your motorcycle and check your gear while he was speaking with you, and I mean, he cared. He really did. And I see that in many of our platoon leaders on the run. And it's incredibly meaningful because that's where the rubber meets the road. I mean, you can teach just about anybody to lead a group of motorcycles. You can practice riding. You can be the platoon coordinator. Certainly not diminishing the importance of any of them. But I often find that our platoon leaders and assistant platoon leaders can truly make the difference.
They really can.
Agreed.
I want to just take the opportunity to call out an excellent platoon leader from Central Route, Jed Gilman.
Mhm.
All the Gilmans.
All the Gilmans, yeah. But I've been harping on Jed to come join the Road Guards for a while now, and I think he really wants to do it. But he said that he's where he needs to be right now, and I believe him on that. He's such a good platoon leader. He's such a great rider, coach, and mentor, and people person. Way to go, Jed. Good job.
Yay.
So, John, how about a favorite Run for the Wall stop or experience?
Oh my. The stop, every stop is so phenomenally important. And I tend to reflect on what the volunteers that put that stop together for us have gone through and done for us. So I tend to look at things a little bit differently. Favorite stop. I think my favorite stop is probably Raynell, West Virginia.
Yeah.
And I think back over the years of the things that the Run for the Wall riders on the Central Route have been able to help and contribute to the town, but how that town has given back to us. But then I don't want to discount Williams, Arizona, or Holbrook, Arizona, or Gallup, New Mexico, or Oakley, Kansas. Wentzville, Missouri, where it takes thousands of people to put this thing together, thousands of volunteers that use their own money, that raise funds to feed us, and take care of us and make sure that we're well taken care of. So a favorite is so very, very difficult, but the children are our future.
Yeah.
In Raynell, West Virginia, and Holbrook, Arizona, the children come out of the schools to greet us and visit us, and they wave their flags, the American flags, and it's just such an honor to be able to represent to them and show them, the good side. And I'll tell you, Boots, you had said something earlier about riding across America on a motorcycle, and I've told a number of people this privately. It's difficult to understand America until you've ridden across America with an organization like Run for the Wall and seen America at its absolute best.
Yeah.
And you think about the motto, "We ride for those who can't." When we lived in DC, we were headed out to California, and we stopped in Colby, Kansas for lunch. There was a village inn there in Colby, Kansas, and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law lived there, so we were going to meet them for lunch. And we're in our Run for the Wall vests and shirts and things like that. We're in this restaurant eating lunch, and this older gentleman walked up to me and he said, "Excuse me," he said, "Are you part of Run for the Wall?" I said, "Yep." Stood up, shook his hand, had a Vietnam veteran's hat on. So, "Welcome home, brother." Shook his hand, gave him a hug, gave him a pin. And he said, "You guys used to stop here in Colby." And he says, I really missed you. It's so good to see that it's still going on." I said, "Well, why don't you ride with us?" He said, I can't do that. I just cannot bring myself to do that. But I want you to know how much it means to me that you are still out there doing that and riding for those like myself that can't do it. And boy, that was a powerful moment.
Yeah.
In the middle of Colby, Kansas, exit 54 or whatever it is on Interstate 70, but in the middle of Colby, Kansas, this gentleman came up and recalled Run for the Wall, recalled his days in Vietnam, and thanked us for doing what we do. It's pretty meaningful.
Yeah. All right, Hitch, why don't you take that next question?
Why? Because I like to eat? You calling me fat?
Yeah.
No. I was literally trying to avoid being the one that asked.
Hey, I
Okay.
like to eat too. Come on now.
Central
Yeah.
route, best meal.
It's awful hard to beat Wentzville. It really is. It's awful hard to beat the banana pudding at Raynell Elementary School, but it's also hard to beat the meal that were served in Gallup, New Mexico, and the lunch that we receive in Holbrook, New Mexico. And I say that because I know what the folks in Gallup go through and have been through. And it's because of the husband and wife team of former Run for the Wall riders that work so diligently in Gallup, that were treated so very, very well in Gallup. But Gallup, in my mind, represents everything sacred to the American veteran. It is definitely a Native American focused event and ceremony, but they are absolutely 100% welcoming. Welcome home, brother. Come into my fold. Come into my ceremony. Come into my place, and we will be one. And I love that. And I think about Holbrook, Arizona, and knowing what the folks in Holbrook go through to provide us that lunch. And to get to see the young Native American dancers that come and grace us and do their dance for us, and to see the high school rock band outside the lunch area.
They're so good.
Santana. Yeah, they are, man, and they're rocking it. They're working it.
Killing it. They're so good.
And they're out there for us.
Mhm.
It just warms me down to my toes. It's so difficult to say one in particular because they're all so incredible. They're incredibly meaningful. They really, really.
Well, what is your road name And how did you get it?
Now, I've heard this story before, but I'm anxious to hear it again.
So, you earn your road name, right? You earn your road names. In 2014, Ann and I were going back to Colorado Springs, where we lived at the time, from DC after the run, and we're bouncing along, well, running down Highway 70 at about 75 mile an hour, and we're approaching Hays, Kansas. And I was in lane 2, in the left track of lane 2, and I'd had this car in lane 1 that was riding right on my rear quarter for about a mile, and that just drives me nuts. If I sped up, he sped up. If I slowed down, he slowed down. It was really kind of irritating me. And there's a particular spot on the westbound side of I-70 as you're approaching Hays, Kansas, where there's a very, very deep ravine that comes up out onto the interstate. And these two big old Tom turkeys decided that was the time that they were going to walk and cross the interstate. So I had nowhere to go. I couldn't go left any further than the stripe, and that's where I went. And I took these two big Tom turkeys right down the right side of my 2011 Harley. Kept the bike up. Fortunately, did $6,400 damage to that bike. So I pulled over to the side of the road. A minute or so after we pulled over, this poor young Kansas State trooper came screaming up to us and hopped out of his car. He said, "Are you guys okay? Are you all right?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, we're fine." I was getting out the electrical tape so I could start taping pieces back on the bike till I could get it to a dealer, right? And he says, "Well, you wouldn't know that you were fine looking at the highway back there because it's a mess." So we taped my bike together, called the dealer and sent in Colorado Springs. I'm sorry, it's kind of a long story, but we rode on back to Colorado Springs, washed the bike off, and I mean we had turkey everywhere. There was turkey all. I mean it was not pretty. It really
It was like Thanksgiving all over again.
I'm telling you, we fricasseed that bad boy. We really did. Well, both of them. Anyhow. So I called the Harley dealer, said, "Hey, I'm home. Let me wash the bike off. I'll get it down to you so you can, do a damage estimate for the insurance company." And I already notified my agent. Yeah, I hit two turkeys on Interstate 70, and it kind of beat up my bike pretty bad. So a couple days later, Winky and Twitch again. I got this call that says, "Hey, we got your damage estimate ready." Yeah, I said, "Well, can I come down and pick up a copy of it?" They said, "Yeah, sure." The guys at the Harley dealer that I went to there were really good folks. They truly were, and they knew their customers, but they'd been good firefighters because they love practical.
This is the dealership in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, Pikes Peak. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
They didn't sell your Harley while it was there for service, was it? Did it?
No,
did they?
No.
That only happens to Lance, then I guess.
That only happens to Lance. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And I told him he should have let him sell it because he could have gone and bought a Goldwing or BMW or something. He didn't think that was funny at all.
Come on now.
So anyhow, I run down to the Harley dealer, and there's Twitch and Winky in the service department. And Rich, the service guy, prints out a copy of my damage estimate. And I said, "Did you already send this to my insurance company?" He said, "Yeah." And I looked at it, and I said, "You didn't really send this to my insurance company, did you?" He says, "Oh, yeah, I did." Well, in the name block, it said John Turkey Staub with my address. And he sent that to State Farm Insurance. And Winky looked at me and says, "You just got a new road name."
Yep. And that's how it happens, folks.
That's how it happened. That's right.
You can't pick your own road name.
No.
I just sent Lance a message. I absolutely need to hear about how his bike got sold while it was in for
it didn't get. He caught it before it got sold, but it was getting close.
He got informed that it had been sold while it was in for service, but let's not go down that rabbit hole now.
I'm not. I want him to tell me the story. All right, where are we?
He got his bike back. The long story short is he got his bike back. And speaking of bikes, I know what you ride because we've ridden a lot of miles together. But why don't you tell everybody else? You mentioned that you had a Harley, but you're no longer riding a Harley because when your bike comes by me now, I'm not sure if the engine's on or not. I don't know. I don't know how you can tell.
It's going faster than the speed of sound, Ted. That's the problem.
All right.
It's the Doppler effect. You got to wait for the Doppler effect to catch up.
Tell us about your bike.
Okay, so I've had all kinds of bikes over the course of my life, and I had a 96 Harley Ultra that I got left turned on, and I wound up wrecking that bike.
Oh
It
man,
was,
that is going to work beautifully into my tech tip for today.
oh, I did. I mean, I was on the way home from work, and very fortunately, I was wearing a helmet because when my head hit the ground, I saw stars.
Mm-hmm.
And had I not been wearing a helmet, I'd probably be crazier than I am right now. But anyhow, long story short, I had it taken to a Harley dealer. They did a damage estimate. I asked them because the bike had flipped. The bike high sided and it flipped 2.5 times, according to witnesses. So I asked them if they had magnafluxed the frame. And they said, no, we hadn't. I said, well, I want you to, before you put it together, I want to know that the frame's okay. And so I got in a bit of a hassle with my insurance company over that. And the Harley dealer said, hey, look, he said, we'll make you a heck of an offer on a brand new 2011. I looked at my wife and she said, well, let's see what they got to offer. So I got a 2011 Ultra, put 85,000 miles on that. Long stories. Most of them seriously run for the wall miles or riding the highways to work, And then it was time to get rid of that bike. And Twitch was selling his Goldwing, his 2015 Goldwing.
Yep.
And knowing Twitch, I know how well he cares for his bike and he maintains his equipment, stuff like that. And it gave me a good excuse. Ann and I a good excuse to fly out to Colorado, see the grandkids. I could go riding a motorcycle in the mountains again, and maybe I'd buy a new toy. So I'm riding a 2015 Goldwing right now.
So that's Twitch's old Goldwing.
That's Twitch's old Goldwing.
Ah, yes. That makes sense.
Yep.
So it's a pretty cool bike, I will admit.
It is a good bike, and I don't know that I'm going to buy another bike. Like I said, I'm 71 years old. I've got 89,000 miles on this one. It runs like it did the day it was brand new. It does exactly what I ask of it. So I don't know.
Honda makes a great motorcycle. I've got 2 Hondas. They're both race bikes. And I also understand that Honda makes cars. So
They
I'm
do.
sure I'm sure their cars are as good as their motorcycles, but I don't have any experience there. So
I've owned Honda automobiles too, and they are. But I've owned Harleys, and I love the Harleys. I've owned Goldwing. I've had Kawasaki's and Suzuki's. I had a Ducati for a short period of time.
which Ducati did you have?
Well, I'm trying to remember now that I said that. It was years ago. It was a single-cylinder Ducati.
Oh, really? I had a single-cylinder Ducati.
Yeah.
I had a 1966 Ducati Diana 350 bevel drive Desmo.
And mine wasn't a 350.
I swear to God, I pushed that bike farther than I ever rode it. That was the most frustrating motorcycle I ever owned. But I've had other Ducatis that were, well, let's just say owning a Ducati is like dating a supermodel. Something's always wrong, and it's going to be really expensive to fix.
But the subject of motorcycles, as you know, is often an interesting discussion to have amongst friends because every bike I've ever ridden, every bike I've ever owned has had its own unique qualities. And I like the looks of a Harley, and you get a Harley clean, and they're hard to, all that chrome, that shiny chrome stuff, and all that. That's neat and cool and all that. And, the Goldwing. Well, I'm getting old. I kind of like sitting in a recliner, and they're comfortable. So there's good, bad with everything.
And they're smooth and they're quiet and they run for a long, long time until you burn your clutch out.
Yeah, but and then you get to ride on the back. Then you get to ride on the back of a Harley going home.
Right, and there's our second reference to Horton, and I wish I had a video of that. When John,
no photographic evidence, you
went
prove
and
it ever happened.
Ride like a pro, right?
Yeah, I did. It was probably, oh my goodness, I've taken Ride Like a Pro for, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 times. I don't know.
Yeah, and Horton, they don't sponsor us at all, but I really want to plug that to everybody out there listening in. Go take a rider's course, and Ride Like a Pro is a great one. And John mentioned the other one that I really love, which is the Yamaha School of Champions. But it's so important to get out there and practice and have a certified coach giving you instruction.
And if you could do both of them, that would be ideal because one is so well focused on those skills that you need when you're at the gas pumps or you're trying to maneuver your bicycle, your motorcycle, your bike in tight quarters and things like that. And I find that the champion school and moto jitsu videos and things like that are so relevant to your highway and higher speed riding.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big so Horton came up. We took a ride about 100 miles east of here. Did the ride like a pro. I wasn't having any problems. And understand, I was about 3 weeks out from kickstands up.
But you do use your clutch a lot doing
You
those
do.
low speed maneuvers because you're in the
Yes.
friction zone. Your clutch is not all the way out. It's not all the way
Yep.
in. It's halfway, and you're really working that friction zone. And if your clutch is a little bit worn, it's going to be all the way worn.
Yes, it will. And you will stop in Carlisle, Pennsylvania on your way home. You'll hop on the back of the Harley and go get the trailer.
I wish
And
I
then
had that on video. John on the back of Horton's bike. That's pretty funny.
But that's why you ride with good friends, because they take care of you, keep you out of trouble, and
That's right.
give you crap.
Uh-huh.
For sure. All right, Turkey. What advice would you have for FNGs?
Take advantage of our FNG coordinators. Take advantage. Get out to California or wherever you're going and give yourself as much time as you can. If you can get to California on Sunday, knowing that we're leaving, on Wednesday. If you can participate in the practice sessions that they do at Lot D, if you can, meet your FNG coordinator, meet your platoon leaders, ask people about fueling and overnight stops and things like that, so that come Wednesday morning, when you pull into Lot D oh my goodness, it is really still dark out here and I can't see a thing I'm doing. And there's flashing lights everywhere. And I've got 87 and a half people yelling at me at the same time. You can try and find some calm amongst the chaos that seems to be Lot D every year, and keep your head on a swivel. Don't be in a hurry. We are not leaving without you. You do not need to race through staging.
Yeah,
we'll
sure.
get you there. But talk with the folks. Talk with the experienced riders. Talk to your platoon leaders, your assistant platoon leaders. That's what they're there for. Think about when you're pulling up to the fuel pumps. I think about this every year. Gasoline has a flash point of minus 43 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're pulling up to these fuel pumps with hot motorcycles gassing 300, 400, 500 bikes in 20 minutes. It is a deliberately choreographed dance, and it's not the time to not be paying attention. It really isn't. And we've never, that I know of, ever had an incident or accident at the gas pumps, and that's a big credit to our fuel team and their professionalism.
Well, there was that one time that Wild Bill's bike caught on fire.
Oh, Wild Bill's did?
Yeah, we were calling him Fireman Bill.
Oh, I didn't know that. Was it an advanced team?
He was advanced team road guard that year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I retract that statement.
Stuff happens, but no, it was okay. In fact, they put it out that fast, and then Hitch, what's going on in the background there?
Your niece.
Hi, Valor. How you doing?
We can't hear you, but
anyways, okay. So Wild Bill was fine. They put the fire out. He was able to ride his bike and finish the run. So
our FNGs need to make sure they connect with their FNG coordinator, their platoon leaders. There is no, there's the only stupid question is the one that's never asked.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to communicate and need to talk so we can help them have the incredible successful run that they deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was going to ask about tips for all riders, not just FNGs, but we kind of already said, go take a class, take a Ride Like a Pro class, watch the Moto Jitsu online, check out the Yamaha School of Champions Riding School. And again, I've mentioned it before, but that is a class, that's a street class. Don't take the racing class unless you want to learn to race, but it's a street class taught on street bikes with street riding gear. It happens to be taught on a race track mostly, but you're not at race pace. You're at street pace, and it's all street oriented. And the instructors are top notch. These are phenomenal motorcyclists with a wealth of experience. They're excellent at coaching. And hey, if you want to learn how to ride a race bike, you could take the Yamaha School of Champions race course, which I've done. And again, they have world class, world champion riders teaching these classes, and you can't ask for better instruction. It's really phenomenal. So check
Boots,
that out.
I so appreciate your tech tips because they're so spot on. But the two things that I'm particularly anal about is I check my tires almost every morning.
Oh,
I
good.
put my bike up on the center stand. I check and I put new tires on before I leave. Every year I start to run on brand new tires front and back.
Me too.
But when you lose a tire on a motorcycle and you only got two, that means now you only got one.
That's right.
And we saw last year on Central Route a couple of times the chaos that can ensue when you lose a tire. But the other thing when I was listening to the podcast with Snake Charmer that you guys just did, Ross has only done this a couple times, so he's only got a couple years experience on this, but he was talking about riding relaxed.
Yeah.
And one of my challenges is that at the end of the day, when I'm tired, I find myself not paying attention to my fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking ahead where I need the bike to go. I'm not, I'm not in the zone that I need to be in. And so I constantly remind myself to get in that zone. I've got to get in my own head. So I would say that knowing yourself or learning more about yourself while you're riding is critically important too.
Do you have like a phrase or something that you say to yourself to try to center back and get back in that zone?
I'm trying to think of a way to clean it up. So one of the biggest things that I find myself doing is when I'm making turns, even riding down the interstate, is I'm not looking where I want the bike to go. I'm looking down. I'm not
Yeah.
focused ahead of myself.
Pick
So
that head
honestly,
up, high horizon. Yeah.
yep, get that head up and get those eyes out so that you're looking where you want to go. The relaxation of the hands on the hand grip. You don't need to squeeze the rubber out of those hand grips. You kind of need them the whole way across the country.
Yeah.
So relax and get your eyes out where they need to be. And that tends to work for me and get my mind back where I need to be. But then, I also carry some candy in my shirt pocket
Oh, yeah.
because, I try to be careful about what I eat at lunch. I try to limit the carbs. Carbs tend to weigh heavy on me. I learned that years ago when I was shooting competitively. I never ate lunch because I could see targets very, very well. I just couldn't hit any of them. My eyes, the brain and eyes were just not in sync any longer. So, I do carry some candy. Um, Dries my sugar up a little bit, but it wakes me up a little bit too and helps me get that focus back.
Excellent. Thank you. So now, what are your plans for the Central Route in 2026 and Sandbox Route 2026?
Well, I haven't decided if I'm going to do Sandbox yet or not. I know I'm going to do Central. Um, I want to continue to be a road guard. I like being a road guard. I like working with people.
Oh, gosh, I had some bad news for you on that.
Okay.
No, I'm
So,
kidding.
if I could be tail end Charlie, I don't care. It's,
No, you're coming back as a road guard, John. I need you.
It's interesting that you asked that question because I knew Larry, or I know Larry very well. Larry and I used to share a meal in Williams, Arizona, that first night, when we were there. So Larry and I became pretty good friends. And when Catfish asked me if I'd mind, packing them out, it's like, well, how cool is that? Because I get to work with every platoon leader, and I get to know them and they get to know me, and we get to launch everybody safely. And it just gets to the point where after about day 3, you get to look at the platoon leaders and they know what you're going to do and you know what they're going to do, and you're in sync. It's
Yeah.
like a dance. So I truly do enjoy doing that. And
So
of course,
we're gonna have to start calling you Pack Out Turkey.
hey, whatever. Okay. You can call me anything you want to as long as you don't call me late for dinner. Okay.
Okay.
but I do enjoy doing that. I do enjoy being a road guard because it's an opportunity to interact with everybody. I spent 41 years as a firefighter in fire and emergency services. whether I was on in the station or at a headquarters, whatever the case may be. But it gives you the opportunity to look at things from a kind of a safety perspective and
Hmm.
maybe add a little bit different flavor to things. Walk down the line of the bikes or trikes with trailers and look at simple things like, do they have a lock on their hitch? Is their hitch pinned properly or locked properly or whatever the case may be? Or, as you're passing the pack, working your way back up front, you get to look at how their gear's riding and things like that. And are they safe? And I've seen road guards intervene in situations where the rider had no idea that they were in an unsafe situation and potentially save someone from what could have been a not so good outcome.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy that. I really do.
Awesome. All right. So
Tech tips with Ted?
that's right. That's where we are. Tech tips with Ted.
What do we have?
Well, John mentioned it earlier about he had a car turn left in front of him, and that ended up badly. I had a car turn left in front of me when I was 16 years old riding my 64 Sprint back here, and I was able to not crash that day. I did lock up the rear tire because that was before I understood how to use a front brake. But today's tech tip with Ted is the art of being seen. How to be seen. There was an old Monty Python skit about how not to be seen. You can look that up on YouTube. It's pretty funny. But this is how to be seen, because when we ride motorcycles, we want to be seen. So I did a little research here. A common cause of motorcycle accidents involves operator error, particularly from other drivers who fail to see motorcyclists, especially at intersections and during lane changes. While motorcyclists do error, we all do, a lot of that has to do with speed. It's also a major factor. But inherently, it's difficult for other drivers, car drivers, to see motorcycles because we're smaller, we're more vulnerable, and that just puts us at significant risk. So, like John said, one of the most common types of motorcycle accident is when an oncoming car makes a left turn across the path of a motorcycle heading in the opposite direction. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, that's the NHTSA, this accounts for 42% of fatal motorcycle crashes. So this is really important. So what do we do to be seen? Well, the basics, and this is a no-brainer for many of us, wear high-vis riding gear. The Dayglow orange, the Dayglow yellow, the green. Wear bright clothing, your jacket, your gloves, your helmet, or you can wear a safety vest. And I know, because I've done it, we made fun of the guy who shows up to the hog chapter riding a safety vest, and we call him a crossing guard. It doesn't matter. It's about being seen. So that's an easy thing you can do to be seen. The next easy thing, and a lot of guys do this, a lot of girls do this, is ride with your brights on during the daytime. It's a great thing to do. Very easy. One thing that I started doing on my Ultra Limited a few years ago is using accessory lights with yellow lenses. And I have those down on my forks. You see a lot of BMWs have those. A lot of Goldwings have those. My big Harley has those. Those lights, you can see people notice you. They are so bright, and they have yellow lenses, which is out of the ordinary. And it's a very easy way to make yourself visible. The lights I use, I think they're the best on the market. They happen to be made by a company called Clearwater Lights, and that's at clearwaterlights.com. I use the Darlas. They're small enough so they don't cause a problem, but they're bright enough so that, boy, you can really see. So the next thing is your own behavior. Constantly scan the road. Don't ride in the blind spots of other cars. I see motorcyclists doing this all the time, and then they get mad because someone cut them off. Well, hey, brother, you're riding in this guy's blind spot, and yeah, they can't see you. You have to be cognizant of the blind spots of other motor vehicles, and don't ride in their blind spots. Another thing I do is whenever possible, when I'm going down the highway, I look for another car or truck, and I'll ride behind them or I'll ride next to them, so that when we're approaching intersections where somebody could be turning left in front of me, they see the car. They're not looking for me. They're looking for other cars. So use other cars and trucks whenever possible so that you're seen. Also riding in groups. If there's more than one motorcycle, you're more likely to be seen. So group riding is generally safer. And again, another no-brainer, don't speed, especially when you're going down highways where there's lots of cars that can turn in front of you. That very common, cars just, they misjudge a motorcycle speed, especially when guys are ripping. So now the last thing, I call this being boisterous, being proactive about your position on the bike. So when you come to a stop at a traffic light, stand up on your bike. People see you when you're doing something they don't expect you to do. They don't expect a guy sitting at a stoplight to be standing up on his motorcycle. I'm not talking standing on the foot pegs. I'm talking put your feet on the ground and stand up and look around. I do this all the time. Look at the car pulling up behind you. Watch your mirrors. When you see a car pulling up behind you, I turn around and I look at them, and sometimes I give them a wave. Hey, and they wave back. They're like, do I know this guy? I don't care if they know me or not. I want to make sure they see me so they don't pack right back into me and cause an accident. Also, if you live in a state where lane filtering is legal, do it. When you're sitting at a stoplight between two stopped cars, you're less likely to get rear-ended. Almost impossible to get rear-ended unless you get rear-ended by another motorcycle, and then that's kind of like, duh. Okay, so here's the last thing I'm going to do. When you're approaching an intersection in any kind of situation where a car could be turning left in front of you, look for that car turning left in front of you. It's a little game I play called Who's Going to Try to Kill Me Next? So I say that in my mind, who's going to try to kill me next? And I scan the road and I wait for that car who's slowing to turn left in front of me. Here's a couple things that I always do. Slow up. That's the first thing you can do. It's easy. Let off that throttle, feather the brakes, slow up a bit. Cover your brakes. If you don't actually put the brakes on, get your right foot and your right hand ready. Cover those brakes. Hand goes off the throttle, your two fingers go forward, cover that brake so you're ready in case they go. One thing that I do, and you got to be careful of this, is weave a little on the motorcycle. Do something they're not expecting. They'll see you. Or flash your brights. Cycle your brights on and off. Another thing to be seen. And then the last two things I do, and it's kind of weird, but I wave a lot. I wave at the car who's turning in front of me, and they're like waving back like, who is this guy? Or I will point at them. I point straight at them. When you point at someone, they see you. I don't know why that is, but I will point straight at them until they like look at me, and then I'll wave. But those are things I do to be seen, the art of being seen. Make sure you're seen so you don't have somebody turn left in front of you and wind up with a broken bike or worse.
Hey,
Thank
Ted,
you.
can I add something to
Oh,
that as a thought?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bring it, John.
One of the things they used to teach us in emergency vehicle operations courses was to look at the front wheels of the car that you're approaching, because they will often don't stare at them and don't singularly focus on them, but look at them, because they will oftentimes tell the story of what that driver's intent is.
For sure. The front wheels move first, and that's where you want to like focus some attention. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for adding that piece, Turkey.
Yeah, thanks,
But
John.
I know we do have something extra to share. And just so you all know, we're recording this on September 28th.
Yep.
So, by the time you all get it, it'll be about a week later. But I don't know who, John or Boots?
What?
Boots? For
I'm
the
going to
extra.
do it.
Okay.
I'm going to do it. Okay, so I just got to take a moment here. I'm sorry. It's with a very heavy heart that I make the following announcement. One of our board of directors, Michael Wizard Turner, lost his life in a motorcycle accident this past week. And I want to share this news because Mike was loved by many. He was a longtime supporter of Run for the Wall. He was a member of the board of directors, and he and his wife, Linda, were traveling to the Texas Riders Reunion in Kerrville when he had an accident. I don't really have details. They're very limited, but it appears that Wizard died from the injuries he sustained in his crash. His wife, Linda, was hospitalized. She's in Austin, Texas, receiving care for her serious injuries. We ask that you keep Wizard and his wife, Linda, along with friends and family in your thoughts and prayers. And I wish I had more information right now. I don't. So you can tell I'm a little broken up because I knew Wizard very well. I served with him on the board of directors. What a phenomenal human being, what a shining star.
He would do anything in the world for you. He'd give
really
you the shirt off his back. He was a very devout Christian, just wonderful to be around. He was just so great to work with.
Yeah. So I wanted to share that with everyone. And rest in peace, Wizard. We'll see you on the other side.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Boots.
Absolutely.
I know it wasn't easy. It's not easy for any of us sitting here. I myself got to get kind of close to him, and he and his wife when we were out in Texas. So, yeah. What were you going to ask me?
Hey, Hitch, can I add one more thing? I don't mean to jump into your podcast.
No,
go ahead.
You guys often speak about the emergency information form, and I would like to share a personal story with you very quickly.
Yeah,
I had alluded to this earlier. In 2012, while we were at Angel Fire, New Mexico, Ann had a subarachnoid hemorrhagic stroke. There's a 95% mortality rate associated with that stroke. The paramedics in Angel Fire quite honestly saved her life. And that emergency information form went with her to Santa Fe and to Denver, where the doctors knew what meds she was on, what her current medical conditions were. Never in our wildest dreams had we ever imagined that little piece of paper could have such a profound impact. But they made copies of it in Santa Fe, and it flew with her when we did the life flight up to Denver. They had it in the neuro ICU in Denver. It made a huge, huge difference. Don't take that emergency information form lightly. I carry them on the motorcycle all the time, especially when they ride together. I just leave them on the bike and in my wallet, and when I'm on the run in my lanyard. I just carry them because they're so critically important. They really, really are.
Yeah, and I actually took that back to my old hog chapter in Santa Maria, California, and the entire chapter wears those lanyards. And also, we just bought some little lanyards at the hog chapter now here at Legends Hog Chapter in Mayer, Arizona. And the Legends Hog Chapter, not everyone, but some of the members are now wearing those lanyards every time we ride. So it's a really good thing to do.
Yeah. Yes. And please don't rush filling out that information, and verify that the information is accurate.
Yeah.
Please.
And be legible. Yep. Your life may depend on it.
Yep.
Seriously. All right. That brings us to our listener letter. We did have someone reach out to us via a comment on the last episode, and at Bounce FNG05. Hey, Bounce. Hey, friend.
Hey, Bounce. We miss you.
We miss you, buddy.
We really do. He says, Hitch, great podcast. He left you out, Boots. Sorry. I mean, the Bounce
That's all right. Everybody likes you better anyways.
I'm his girl. But he says, Hitch, great podcast. What about camping? So I'm not sure if you mean like, what's it like to camp, or how much does it cost to camp? Where do people camp? What types of people camp? Or when will the camping list be available?
Well, the camping information comes out with the hotel lists on January 1st. So,
all right. And I do know we more than likely, y'all, my memory, okay? But I'm pretty sure we touched on camping a little bit when we had Flat Tire, when we had Bernadette on, because she's a camper. So if any of you all are looking for more information on camping, especially if you're an FNG, go back to that episode. It was one of the last episodes of season 1. Also, she was, or possibly still is, the FNG coordinator for Central Route. So, she not still, okay, well, she was.
No. She was last year's FNG coordinator.
Yeah. But, reach out. I'm sure she'd be more than happy to share information about camping. Bernadette's awesome. So.
She is.
Whew. Well, any final thoughts for today's
Well, we could talk
episode?
about Run for the Wall all day long. Come on.
No, we are over time right now. So
We are, but thank you so much for joining us, Turkey.
Well,
We
thanks for the
appreciate
invitation. I
you.
so appreciate that. This is Run for the Wall means a lot to me, and contributing means a lot to me. So I appreciate the
Yeah.
offer.
And I do want to say, since we have John on and he's the president of the board of directors, the board of directors is tasked with a lot of stuff. And we have to make difficult decisions. We have to take a look at the whole picture, sustaining Run for the Wall, keeping this mission going for generations and generations to come. And, John's door is pretty much always open. So if you have a comment, you like something, you don't like something, you want to let John know, because the buck stops with John. He gets all the difficult stuff. Reach out to him, president at rftw.us, and let him know, because he's a very personal guy. He's a problem solver. He's a clear thinker. He's very rational and reasonable, but he also wants to hear from you. So if you got something to say, hit him up.
We need you guys. We need the younger veterans, the future, the veterans that are still on active duty, the folks that have just retired. We need to keep Run for the Wall going, because this mission cannot stop. It cannot fail, and it cannot stop.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. And if you are looking for more information on Run for the Wall, head over to the website, www.rftw.us. You can find any and all information that we have talked about here, anything that you may be looking for. If we did not get to your question, you can fill out an AR, send it in. That goes to all of us, all of the board of directors. Or, if it's specific to the podcast, pod@rftw.us. Go ahead.
That's right. pod@rftw.us. And I want to say this, because I almost forgot to say something about it, and I didn't make a note, but I fortunately remembered. If you're trying to access the forum today, the forum is down. We had a very technical, very big error, and my team is working on it right now. Hopefully it'll be back up by the time this podcast airs. I can't imagine it won't be, but I just wanted to say that, yeah, we're aware of it. We're on it. We're fixing it. I got my engineer working on it right now. So there you go.
Sweet.
Yep.
All right. As always, add comments on social media to this, and I'll read them here, or write to us again at pod@rftw.us. Share your experience
us on YouTube.
Share your experiences with us. Ask questions. If you're interested in joining us, just let us know. We'd love to have you. But until next time, everyone, how far are we going?
All the way.
All the way.
Did you?
Wait a minute. Did I
No, he's good. He's
well,
good.
Hunt or Hitch or what? I mean,
No, you got it.
All right. Don't forget to register, everyone.
Yes, register.
We'll see you in May.
And next episode.